What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 11 of the Easy OSRS boss series. This week, we're heading back to the wilderness to check out another amazingly easy boss that could make you a ton of money. We will be checking out that big-ass spider that hangs out in eastern mid-wilderness, Venenatis. If you haven't checked out my Instagram page yet, head over there right now and give it a follow. I take submissions from anyone who wants to submit their awesome OSRS achievements. Whether they're PKs, drops, levels, or awesome stakes, I'll take the best ones submitted each day and shout them out. Make sure you hashtag RS Slayer Squad. Also, feel free to come hang out in my clan chat, which is the official clan chat of the Slayer Squad. We've always got some people in there hanging out, maybe doing some raids or other bosses. I am always down to boss if I'm available, so don't be shy, come in and hang out for a while. So this boss, Venenatis, is very easy to get to. The run is not that long no matter which method you take. I am going to be showing you two of these methods because they're the only viable means to get there. First, we can use the ancient magic spell, the Karalangar teleport. This teleport is a level 84 spell that will teleport you to the Graveyard of Shadows. From here, you're going to want to run out the east side of the graveyard and head northeast up to level 28 Wilderness. The next method we can use is the Games Necklace teleport to the Corporal Beast. I prefer this method because it is ever so slightly shorter of a run, and I can just keep the Games Necklace in my inventory for 8 trips. Same thing here, head northeast to about level 28 Wilderness and you'll find the giant arachnid roaming around in the area. As this boss is very strong, I do have some suggested requirements. As we'll be using full Verax for this boss, we're going to want to have a minimum of level 70 defense or higher, but I would recommend having 80 as this boss can hit pretty hard. Along with this, I also recommend having level 85 or higher in both your attack and strength stats. We're also going to want to have at least level 70 or higher prayer for piety, and if you have it, use the preserve prayer. This prayer allows your boosted stats to stay boosted for 50% longer and only drains a few prayer points per minute. If you don't have this prayer unlocked, head over to the GE and pick up the Torn Prayer Scroll. They're only about 45k at the time this video was made. Lastly, this is only suggested, but most certainly not necessary. I want to recommend having at least level 94 magic or higher for the lunar spell Vengeance. Venenatis can hit for a very high amount of damage, so the Vengeance spell can be very helpful in making for faster kills. If you don't have the ability to use this spell, no worries. Kills will most likely be a little slower and you'll have to bank more often, but it can still be done. Venenatis is a level 464 boss with a hit points level of 255. It is aggressive, it is poisonous, and its initial poison hit will be 8. Its max hit is 50, its attack styles are magic and melee, and its weakness is actually ranged, but we're going to be meleeing it, so we'll get into why now. Venenatis has an attack level of 470, strength level of 490, defense level of 490, range level of 1, and a magic level of 150. Its defensive bonuses are plus 260 to stab, slash, and crush, plus 850 to magic, and plus 100 to range. Now Venenatis is somewhat weak to range, but because of that huge level 490 defense, hits are still going to be few and far between, even with Diamond Bolts E. I did try it and the kills are still faster with melee with the Verax. The reason we're going to be using Verax is because of its set effect that can hit through armor and prayer as if they weren't even there. Venenatis does have 2 unique drops. Like the other wilderness bosses, Venenatis drops one of the rings. Venenatis drops the Treasonous Ring, which will give you a plus 4 bonus to stab, and if you get it imbued with 650,000 nightmare points, it will double that bonus to plus 8 to stab. This has a drop rate of 1 in 512. The other unique drop from Venenatis is the Venenatis Spiderling. This is Venenatis' version of the pet. It is a very rare drop at a rate of 1 in 2,000. Being a wilderness boss, Venenatis also drops the Dragon Pickaxe. This is the most expensive drop on Venenatis' table. It is a drop rate of 1 in 171. Also along with this, Venenatis drops the Dragon Two-Handed Sword, which is a drop rate of 1 in 256. As for this boss's more common drops, most of them are pretty good. There are some crappy ones in there, but the good far outweighs the bad. On average, Venenatis' average drop ranges between 50 and 70k, with some being in the hundreds of thousands. Some notable drops that you're going to want to keep an eye out for are 300 death runes, which is quite common, 300 gold ore, 100 noted magic logs, magic seeds, 100 noted grimy snapdragon, which will net you a nice 900k, and 60 onyx bolt tips, which will pull in 500k per drop. This drop is listed as uncommon, but I've found that I do get a decent amount of them. Their drop rate is 5 in 128. If you'd like to see a complete list of Venenatis' drops, check out the wiki link in the description below. So now onto the gear setup. Keep in mind that we will be spending an extended period of time in the wilderness, so we're going to only want to have 4 valuable items on us at all times. We will be using the Varric set, which is comprised of 4 items, so we're good there. We'll be using the Varric set because of its ability to ignore armor and defense bonuses. As I mentioned before, this boss has an incredibly high defense level, so we're going to need all the help we can possibly get. I'll be going with the Varric set, God Cape because it's free, Amulet of Glory, Rune Gloves, and Climbing Boots. In my inventory, you'll see a Super Combat Potion, Saradomin Brew, Super Restore, 2 Prayer Potions, an Antidote ++, 18 Sharks, runes for the spell Vengeance, and a Games Necklace. With this setup, I can almost always get 2 kills per trip, and sometimes 3 if I'm lucky. Without Vengeance, I found myself barely picking up 2 kills, and more often than not, only finishing 1 and leaving the boss at about 25% HP before having to teleport out. Now, I do have an ornate rejuvenation pool in my house, so after I finish a trip, I can head to my house and recharge all my stats. If you don't have the ability to do this, I suggest also wearing a Ring of Dueling, so as soon as you teleport out, you can immediately teleport to Clan Wars, hop through the portal, and recharge your stats. Before we get into the kill strategy, I want to talk about how we're going to kill Venenatis and some of the mechanics the boss has. In this video, we will not be safe spotting. There is a safe spot, which I'm not sure still works or doesn't. It may have been patched. I know Theoatrix has a great guide to using this safe spot, so if you want to check it out, I'll provide the link in the description. But as for me, I prefer not to use the safe spot for 2 reasons. The first reason is that PKers tend to check boss safe spots much more frequently. Second, the safe spot does take a bit of time and is somewhat complicated to set up correctly, so for my guide, I'll be killing this boss head on with no safe spot. You'll still make a great amount of profit with or without the safe spot. As for the mechanics, this boss does have some annoying ones. Venenatis has a normal melee attack which can deal a lot of high damage. We won't be praying against melee, so definitely keep an eye on your HP. Venenatis also has a magic attack that resembles the green Earthwave spell. One of Venenatis' special attacks is the web attack, where the spider will throw a ball of web at the player that can deal up to 50 damage and will root you to the ground. This is usually combined with a melee or magic attack depending on how close or how far you are from the boss. Another special attack she has is Prayer Drain. Regardless if you're praying magic or not, this spell will hit you and drain your prayer points. The Prayer Drain is based on how many prayer points you currently have, so the lower prayer points that you have, the less the drain. So it's important to leave your prayer points somewhat low, but not so low you'll run out. I generally drink a dose of prayer potion once I hit about 10 prayer points. You'll also have to pay very close attention while killing this boss, as it does have the ability to one-tick you. Unless you are using anglerfish or are brewed up, Venenatis does have the ability to hit 50-50 in one game tick, killing anyone instantly. Although this is very rare, it can happen. I did 50 kills for this video and I only got one ticked once, but I was at about 80 HP at the time. Even still, that's a lot of HP in a very short amount of time. Okay, on to the kill strategy. So for Venenatis, there's going to be a specific spot you're going to want to stand. Luckily, this spot is in level 28 Wilderness, so if any PKers come, you'll be able to teleport instantly. What I'd like to do here is use my F keys. I have F1 set to Inventory, F2 set to Spellbook, and F3 set to my Gear tab. I do this so I can quickly use Vengeance and get back to my inventory, and so if I see PKers pop up, I can just tap F3 and glory out as fast as possible. Also, you'll want to set up your quick prayers to protect item, protect from magic, piety, and preserve if you have it. If your prayer does get knocked out, you'll be able to quickly drink a dose of prayer potion and turn it back on. So as for the spot you'll be standing, as you can see on the screen, the ground changes color very abruptly. Where the ground changes color, look for these 2 webs and stand 1 square south of the web highlighted in green. You'll need to lure Venenatis away from the center of her web and fight her out of her comfort zone. In order to lure her, make sure your magic prayer is on and just walk toward her until she aggroes you. Once she starts coming toward you, step back to the spot I showed and wait for her to get all the way to you. If you don't have magic prayer on, she will continuously mage you from a distance. With Protect Magic on, it forces her to walk toward you to get into melee distance. Once she's right next to you, begin the kill. Make sure you have your vengeance casted before you arrive, so if she hits you early, you can immediately double venge to throw back more damage. Try to keep a close eye on your vengeance spell cooldown so you can get it up as fast as possible, dealing as much rebound damage as you can. It will help a lot. As you can see here, I have a vengeance spell cooldown timer provided by OS Buddy Pro, so if you don't have it, I recommend getting it. It is really useful, among other things, for the client. I also like to angle my camera as low as it will go and direct it to the north because, from my experience, 90% of the PKers I've seen generally come running in from the north because they're walking back and forth checking Callisto and Venenatis. Sometimes you'll have them show up to the southwest, but you can use the minimap to spot them and immediately teleport out. From here on out, you just need to monitor your HP, prayer, and get your vengeance spell up as soon as it's off cooldown, so kick back, check out the rest of this Venenatis kill, and I'll see you guys at the loot part of this video. So, as you can see, killing Venenatis isn't that hard. All there really is to it is making sure you don't run out of prayer points. You keep your vengeance up, and you keep your HP up. So for this video, I did 50 Venenatis kills just to give you all an idea of what kind of loot you can expect, so we'll check that out now. So 3.6 mil from 50 Venenatis kills. I'd say that's pretty good. I did about 2 to 3 kills per trip, and it took me about 2.5 hours to do 50 kills. As for supplies, I used a bunch of different stuff, so I'm not going to bother telling you how much of what I ended up using. All in all, supplies ended up costing me 900k, which puts my total profit margin at 2.7 mil, and with a time of 2.5 hours for 50 kills, I made roughly 1.1 mil per hour here. I'm pretty happy with that, if I do say so myself. Keep in mind this rate will depend on your combat level. The lower your combat, the less you can expect per hour, but even around 105 combat, I'd still expect you to make maybe 700 or 800k per hour. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about fighting Venenatis. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. They really help the video spread. Don't forget to leave your questions and comments down below. I try to respond to every single one if I can. If you enjoyed listening to me babble about OSRS bosses and other NPCs, do me a favor and tap that subscribe button on your way out. I will see you guys next week for the final episode of the Easy OSRS boss series. Have a good one, everybody. Take it easy.